Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Craig Blanchett, and I'm here with my counterpart and co-host, Troy Drollinger. Troy, do you want to say hello to all your fans?
Good morning, everybody. How are we all? Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, right? We're
Yeah.
all awake, ready to go?
Awake. If you're not awake, just stare at my shirt. It will
Yeah,
awaken you,
that'll
right?
shocking you. Well, so Craig, hey, one thing is that as we kind of look at this morning, we have some exciting things to share. So it will be able to be pretty cool. Uh, Corporate actually came out with the health assessment, the new one yesterday. So we're actually going to run through that, Craig and I are this morning, and we have somebody that we're going to interview too. So it's going to be kind of cool.
Well,
Go ahead, Craig.
as we're getting started here, though, I'm curious, just a little bit of feedback. We always like to do feedback from the previous training and get just a few comments and updates, because even though these are individual trainings, everything we do flows together. And so even if you're watching this later on the recording, hopefully you're watching these in sequence. And so it'll make sense from what we did last week. So last week we did the Facebook 333 by 3 campaign, and different ways of connecting and friending and starting conversations. And so if you guys have your finger on the trigger, you can raise your virtual Zoom hand. If you can't find your Zoom hand, just go to your elbow and keep going, and you'll find your real hand, and you can raise that as well. And so I'm curious as who have some an aha moment, or you've had something to celebrate some success. Lorraine, you're going to be first, and I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay. You had told us about moving post over to I created a group or a place to go and get information to put on to post on social media. And I am doing a meltdown challenge, and there was some really interesting stuff on sleep. And so I had copied that and put it over there, and I put that on one day and just put a thing about, how much sleep do you get in a day. And interesting that I got, in fact, I still have about 3 conversations going on with people right now about that. So it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I did another one on, weighing, how often do people weigh? And again, got a couple of people that
Mm-hmm.
I'm chatting with. So it was one of those aha moments. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun when you go, I'm going to test the water, and you do it, and then you see like, oh, this is why this is a good thing to do. Lorraine, Lorraine and the rest of you, thank you for commenting. You literally, if you're making 3 posts a day, you can actually spend quite a bit of time on following up on the comments, because make sure you go back to those posts that you do. Now, you may start out, if you don't have the time to manage those, you may only post once or twice a week. Now, if you're a full-time health coach, you can have more time to spend, but going back and everybody that liked it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason? So that's a great question. Hey, thanks for liking that. What stood out to you, or why'd you like it? Or what are your thoughts on sleep, or whatever? And if they comment, obviously thanks for the comment, but the goal is to see people that engage. You throw something out there that's sort of interesting, and then people engage with your thought, and now you start a conversation. And so go back and manage your posts and make sure that you're following up on the likes, and it's like you posted it, which means you bounced the ball out to the world, and then the people that liked it bounce the ball back to you. Catch the ball and bounce it back to them.
Yeah.
Keep the conversation going. I have a conversation going on with a lady in Texas right now. I don't know her, and she said to me, why did you friend me? And I'm like, why did I friend you? Because I'm doing this 333 thing, and you seemed interesting. And so I had to figure out why, because it was intentional. Anyway, so now we're going back and forth. Now we're talking about the floods and the fires and whatever. But we haven't got to health yet. I don't know if we will. So I'm just kind of bouncing the ball. All right. Isabel, you're up next. I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things that was really encouraging, I kind of, you'd mentioned follow some of the leadership. And so I started doing that and started doing the copying and pasting it into my page. And it's amazing how fast the chatter started, just over small things. And now I've got several conversations going. Some are interested, some are just into health. So it's like the health coaching things become kind of another platform. So exciting to kind of see. And then you had challenges too to friend, you know, if you weren't at 200 people. And so it was like, okay, so that's another, just kind of getting to that level and then trying to move forward from there. So
Good
exciting
job. Way to
stuff.
go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know, hey, one thing real quick, Craig, you know, thinking about Facebook, you know, if you start off with a couple hundred friends, let's just say you're a brand new coach and you start off with a couple hundred friends, and as you build, one thing is the conversation. If you're not having a conversation, then, you know, you're not having people interested. You know, their algorithm, look at, what do you call it? Algorithms or whatever the heck it's called?
Algorithm. Yeah.
Algorithm, see, you said, but you know, people are not following what you're doing. So if, you know, you always kind of think about the things that you're posting. One thing is, I think, is that if you're posting something that's interesting and maybe you're interested in, you know, individuals, then what happens is as people, maybe you're asking a question like, just like I think Lorraine was saying, you know, how many times a day do you weigh? Or how many times a day in a week do you weigh? Or whatever it might be. It gets people interested because that's something that they would follow, as in, oh, well, I'm curious to see on such and such, you know. So, you know, you want to have that conversation going so people can, you know, you can actually have people following you instead of having nothing going. So just
yeah. Are all these conversations on Messenger, Lauren said, and the many of them are Facebook is if you're not proficient or aren't on Facebook, you're missing a lot of significant way that our current culture begins and maintains relationships. And so lots of people's lives have changed because they saw something on Facebook and started a conversation. And so I just want to encourage you that if you do want to help lots of people, Facebook is super powerful, like unbelievable that it's free, quite honestly. And so the conversations oftentimes will start on Messenger, or what will happen is they'll start with a post, and then someone comments or likes, and then you comment, or, you know, maybe you go to their page and you message them on Messenger, and then you have a conversation that goes back and forth, and your goal is to take it to actually have a voice conversation with them. And so it'd be like, hey, well, let's connect. Thanks for liking my post. And you bounce the ball, and then you kind of warm the relationship up, break the ice is what they call it. And then it's like, well, hey, let's connect. If they, you know, maybe you get together for coffee, maybe you get together and you they have a health need that comes up, and so you get to the phone, or, you know, hey, it's kind of fun, it's interesting to be able to text back and forth, but I'd love to actually hear your voice and actually have a voice conversation with you. What's your phone number? You know, but getting it to warming it up to have a real relationship.
and Craig, really quick too, if you're in Messenger and if you're chatting with them with Messenger, why not do a video? Why not do a video with them, video conferencing, right, in Messenger? Because utilize what you have there, and they've already been chatting with you with Messenger. So say, hey, when you have 5 minutes, we can just, you know, talk on video Messenger. Oh, what's that? Well, here, I'll invite you.
I'm going to show you that right now, because you may not know that this is right here at your fingertip, right? So let's just say here, so Troy, so I'll just look up Troy, right? So Troy's here, and then you have this, this is messenger.com, right? So we're talking about whatever, you know, and
or it's on your phone. You don't have to go to Messenger.
It could be on your phone as well, but up here in the right-hand corner, there's a little start a video chat, start a voice call. And so I might say, hey, Troy.
Now remember too, you have to have this downloaded. If you don't have the Messenger app, it won't work.
Well, yeah, on the app on the phone. But if he has, if I'm just on the computer, I'll just say, "Hey, how about we do a video chat?" Then I would click that, and it would call him, and then we would have a little video chat. Right, works pretty nice. Um, so, and if you're
How
on
many
phone,
can you have up to? I know I've had up to 6 on there. How many can you have up at one time, Craig? Do you know?
Grandpa Google would tell you the answer to that. I'm
Uh,
certain of it.
yeah, that's right. I forgot Grandpa.
Yep.
Yeah, he knows a lot.
All right, guys. And then Chris, did you just have your thumbs up, or did you actually want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say the 3x3x3 is nice because it makes things achievable. Instead of saying, hey, here's a list of 100 people. Ah! So I don't know about you guys, that freaks me out. So 3 is much more manageable. And then 3 leads to 4, leads to 5, leads to 6, leads to 20. So
Yep.
but it's much more achievable, much more realistic.
And 3 is what if you're a full-time health coach or wannabe, 3x3x3 is the story. Now, if you are a very, very part-time and you're just trying to get started, you might do the 1x1x1, and you might move up to the 2x2x2, right?
Baby steps.
Yep. But the big dogs like the Dan Valentines, they do the 3x3x3, right? They don't do the 0x0x0. Right? If you do that, you'll probably get those kinds of results. When the paycheck comes at the end of the week, it'll have a 0 on it.
Hey Craig, we're 15 after. Let's get this. Let's get the health.
15 after. Let's get drinking.
Because I think John here, that's our I'm not gonna say our dummy because he's not.
John's the man. Oh, perfect. John's the man.
I know he's got to work this morning, so we want to get going with him, and I'm gonna
walk you guys through. I'm gonna show you where to get the forms, and it'll be on the video for later. But I just want to sort of give you a quick overview. This will take about 2 minutes. One of the neat things that we're going to be doing today is talking about assessing someone's current reality and then what they would like to get better. So, it's what's your current level of health in whatever area. And then if that were to improve, what would that look like? Imagine if you're just assessing someone's car. So what's your current car? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And if you were to get a new car, what would that be? You get to decide. Just because you say that's what you want, I don't know that we can get it right away. But if you really, really want it and you work for it over time, you can go get that. And just about any car in the world if you're willing to work for it. And so just figure out something, and that's how we work with assessing. Now we have a couple different ways of assessing people, and I'm going to share my screen just real quick. First of all, coach answers. You probably just want to get that in your mind. Maybe you write that down on your notes right now. coachanswers.optavia.com, right?
Do we have that in archive so they can find that if they need?
Well, it's all over the place. We've
talked
about it many times, but coachanswers.optavia.com, and it looks like 12 is the max for Facebook video chat. By the way, for now.
Thank you, Grandpa Google.
Grandpa Google through the voice of Martin. Thanks, Martin. So up in the top left here, business support, and then the first one, document library. So we click on that, and it has this nice little search feature. Now, I recommend you use the search. I guess you could scroll down through here and waste a bunch of your valuable time. Or you can just type in, like, for example, well-being evaluation. If you click on that, it takes you to here. You guys probably seen this, body, mind, finances, scale 1 to 10, blah, blah, blah. Where are you now? Cumulative score. Kind of a nice little document. Now, we also, if you go to health assessment, oh my goodness, if you click that one, it takes you here. You guys probably haven't seen this yet. Why? Because it came out yesterday, hot off the presses. They released one at convention, or for those of you that went to the wellness retreat, and they've basically had a bunch of people take a look at it, and they've tweaked it and they've updated it, and so it's a little bit more. I don't know, it has more room to write, and so this is the newest
So
version.
if anybody got the new kit and you have these, throw them away.
Yeah, you
want to use this. You'll want to use this.
The pad that came with your kit is those are it has been improved. We're always improving, just like our fuelings have improved. So has our health assessment, right? And so you can go through here and type in health, and then that will take you to the health assessment, which is health assessment fillable, health assessment with the guidelines, and then you can just have the guidelines. And so the guidelines basically are how to share the program, how to invite people. You know, if you forget some of the things we talk about today, we wrote it down, and you can find it in the Coach Answers business library. But the most important piece of what we're doing, no matter what tool you use, is you have to have a way to find out where people are, where they want to be, right? And then a way to record that information and then track it over time. And so that's what these documents do. Now, I will tell you, as it depends on the relationship. Like if John called me and said, hey, I've seen that you're doing all this awesome things, and then I've got about 30 pounds to lose, and I got a couple things that I'm working on, and I was wondering if you can help me. Well, I would probably go directly. I'd say, well, I don't know. Let's see. Why don't we let's set up some time to talk about what it is you want and kind of get down underneath it. I would go directly to the health assessment, and I would just set a meeting and start talking with them. But let's say that John wasn't somebody that I really knew, and I just saw him on Facebook, and he posted something like he was struggling with his weight, or he hurt himself lifting weights or something, where I could tell he was wanting to get a little healthy, but I wasn't sure what was going on. And we had a conversation. I might start with the well-being assessment. Hey, why don't you fill this out, and let's kind of go through it, right? So that way it gives me something to give them. They warm up to a little bit of an assessment. We follow up and talk about that assessment, and I'm still going to track his answers on this new health assessment sheet, right? So it just depends on where you're at, and there's relationships that are very warm, and they're ready to talk about health, and they're ready to be considered as a client. And then there's other people that aren't quite there. So there's still a valuable, the well-being assessment, which is the scale of 1 to 10, body, mind, finances. That's still a great assessment to use. But in the end, and this is the point that I want to make abundantly, is you have to have a way to assess where people are, where they want to be, show them a path to get there, and then you have to keep a track of their answers, because you have to chart their progress. How do you know where they are, where they're going, if you don't write it down? Because they're going to forget. At some point, they're going to forget what their reasons why they started, because they're not as fat as they used to be. They're not as,
they get comfortable.
They get comfortable. The pain is not the pain of why they started has lessened. And so resistance now is going to be greater than the pain. So we have to tap into their desire. If we don't increase desire, when pain drops, desire has to increase, or you're going to stall.
Yep.
Right? And so you'll go back to these notes that we're about to take, that John's going to talk us through. And you'll say, well, remember when we started, you talked about how you wanted to go on that hiking trip, or that you wanted to run a triathlon. Now, did you change your mind on that? Like, no, I forgot about that. I was too busy doing this other thing. Well, so in order to do that, if you still want to do that, we probably want to move forward. So you want to tie them back to the reasons why they said they wanted to do this. Because trust me, people are going to be busy with their day. They're going to be busy running their day-to-day life, and they're going to forget or put their dreams on the back burner. And you are the advocate for their dreams.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, let's do this, man.
All right. So as we're starting out here with John, So
Hello.
welcome, John.
Hello.
Yeah,
We hear
hello.
you, man. You're there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Loud
Hey,
and
can I add something to that real quickly?
You can, of
Absolutely.
The
course.
most powerful thing that you can say to any human being is "you told me," because when you use that to your client or whoever you guys are using, that tends to, you're reminding them of why or whatever they said to you. So I mean, you can't argue with yourself. So if you
Yeah,
say
right.
you told me you want to go hiking, you told me you want to get better shape.
Yep.
So
And I would say, so you told me you wanted to go hiking. Now, do you still want that?
yeah,
And they're
when they
like,
see the words "you told me," they're like, "Well, yeah, I did.
that's
Let's do
good.
this."
Now, Craig, he's going to be a pretty tough interviewer, so you're going to be okay.
Oh, I'll work it out. Yeah. Is he a Drollinger? Is this last name?
No. He's not.
Wow. How about that? So he might be a little easier then.
No, I married into the family,
You did. Oh man, I'm sorry for you. I mean,
or he married into mine. I don't know how it
there you
works,
go.
but
There you go. All right. So
whichever,
welcome,
all
John.
related.
So we're just going to go through this. This should take maximum. You want to be able to get your time to 30 minutes, start to finish. Now, just doing the assessment, you want to get that to around 20 minutes. Then we make a recommendation in a little bit of a 5-minute connecting, and then we sort of overcome any extra questions or concerns. And so we're going to start out. I'm just literally I'm going to share my screen so people can see kind of how I'm taking notes. So I have the health assessment up here. Put your name in there. What's your last name, John?
Pelley, Pelley.
Got it. Okay.
I could have
And
said
then,
Drollinger.
can you share with me why you wanted to connect today? Well, I mean, this is because you're helping somebody out, but let's just, I'd love to hear, actually just make this personal. What kinds of things you'd like to change or improve regarding your health?
For starters, lose weight was one of the goals.
Okay.
I have 4 active boys, so staying healthy and being active with them is super important.
Okay.
What other reasons are there? I mean, obviously, I have a long line of diabetes in my family.
Oh, okay.
So health is extremely important to me. I tend to think that you do things to gain pleasure and to avoid pain. And seeing what my father went through, quadruple bypass surgery, don't know if I really want to experience that. So I'll do everything I can to prevent that from happening.
Okay. All right.
I'm letting you write your notes, so I'm slowing down.
It's okay. Thanks. Yep. Yeah, I'll try to keep up. And so, okay, great. And then, so how would you? So if we think about based upon some of those things you said, if you were just to kind of describe your current state of health in maybe 1 or 2 sentences, how would you describe current?
I've been on the program for 9 days.
Okay.
I've seen and I weighed myself 2 days ago, and I was about 7.5 pounds lighter.
Okay.
I've done this program before, so I know what it's like. I know the first 3 days suck. Just because your body's adjusting to the lack of calories you're used to.
Right. Yep.
So I've gotten through that phase, but the energy level is definitely going up. One of the most important things is actually having a spouse that's in it with me, doing it with me. So there's a support system this time, which is the first time she's ever done it.
Wow, that's excellent. And so how much weight you notice that I just took an abbreviation because there's only one line. I'm not talking to you
Sorry about that.
but I'm talking to the whole team. I just took a few notes just to get a rough idea. Spouse on team, first time. That was good to know. Energy is up. He's been on plan before. Day 9, down 7 pounds. Great. So how much weight are you looking to lose in total?
I'm looking to lose about 25 pounds.
25. Okay. And what is your current, what did you start at?
210.
Okay. Great. Let's, some of the questions I'm going to ask you are going to be sort of going back to either history or going into the future. So we're either going to talk to your former self or your future self, right? And And so think about a time in your life when you were healthier, maybe when you were at a healthy weight, when you were able to keep up, when your energy was good. Think back in the past and think about a time like that and what's different now.
My age.
Okay.
It's a huge difference.
Tell me more about that. What's that? How's
Well,
that?
I mean, when I was in my 20s, the ability to eat anything you wanted, I had a fast metabolism. I had a more active job than I do now.
What were you doing then?
I was a driver on a truck.
Okay.
I used to deliver things, so I was always running and lifting heavy things.
Okay.
I was also in construction.
Okay. Got it. And so let's just, so that's good. Basically, you're older now, in your 20s. It seemed like you could eat anything and you were active and you did physical types of things as part of your vocation. And so that's changed a little bit. What would it mean for you to be at a healthy weight and that healthy place again? How would that affect the way you feel, the activities, the things you do, the relationships? So think about that future now.
Well, I think it'd be nice to be able to show my 4 boys what it's like to have a healthy lifestyle, be an example, a role model for them as well, teaching them early on in life the healthy habits is extremely important. So my goal is to, obviously, like everybody's, is we want to pass on greatness to them and make sure they're better than what we were.
Got it. And then so that's great. And so what about like things like, let's imagine so you want to lose about 25 pounds. So you'll be down around 180, something like that, 185.
Yeah, about 185. If I got to 180, I wouldn't be mad.
You wouldn't be mad. Okay, got it. So that'd be like so let's just go into the future and imagine you at 180. So take a minute, just kind of envision yourself. You look in the mirror and you look 180. You leave the house and you're going to work and you weigh 180, right? And so that's going to affect a lot of kind of small things and maybe big things.
I'll have to go shopping for sure.
Shopping, okay, new clothes. Yep. And what about like looking in the mirror and do you have a smile on your face or do you have just a meh, whatever face?
No, I'd have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning in a good mood, but it wouldn't hurt to get out of the shower and say, yeah.
Yep, nailing it.
That's
Yep.
nice.
That's right. What about would it affect, like, would there be some activities that you want to do that you might be more inclined to do or would be easier? Any type of activity things?
Think about that. I'm fairly active. I usually play football with my kids, and I mean, I don't have any issues with doing activities with them. My oldest boy likes to run, so I could probably definitely keep up with my 16-year-old running.
Okay.
But
awesome. How often do you guys run together, or do you do that?
We do. It's a long story, but I'd say at least once a week.
Okay. Got it. And then do you see that affecting like your relationships? So that's with your boys. Are you married, I assume?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And so how do you feel that it's not just the weight, but the weight is a reflection of many things, but how would you see that affecting, I know your wife's on program as well. How do you see your improving health affecting your relationship with your wife?
I think that it helps both of our self-esteem, and maybe would be the best thing. I just the whole goal was obviously to feel better about ourselves, but I just want her to get through her issues that she may have as well too with food. and using it as a fuel and not just as, something you do because you're bored.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the journey with her, it's just like I said, it's nice to see that she's taking it seriously. One of the things I was going to ask you guys too is in doing this program multiple times, maintaining it, I think, is key for most all clients. And so getting the support not just during it but after as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully I'm finding that I can get that with my partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that the probably the number one asset you'll have is pairing up with the closest people in your life, and our spouses are the closest people. Because how often is it we say, "Hey, are you hungry? Yeah, what do you want to eat? McDonald's or let's go out to In-N-Out Burger or whatever," and you're like, okay. But if they said, "Hey, let's go to let's get a picnic, or let's go grab a Lena Green at Olive Garden," or then you're like, "Oh, okay." And so there's those health happens in those little teeny moments right there, and when you're a part of her team, that makes it's such a benefit both ways. Excellent. So what I see there is being an example of healthy living to your kids, teaching them long-term healthy habits is just more of it's just a standard lifestyle. It's just what you do. You'll have some new clothes. You might have a smile in the reflection because you just look like the guy you want to look. Activities will improve. Football with kids. Your oldest son runs, and you want to keep up with him. Right now, you're running about one time a week. Better self-image, more attracted to one another in your marriage. You want to be her health companion, so you'll sort of be an ally, if you will. And you want to both avoid boredom eating, and you realize you'll be stronger if you both have a plan that you're both aware of. Life post weight loss.
It's that accountability.
Accountability, yeah. Mm-hmm.
For each other.
Yeah, and the life post weight loss is where the habits are either there and strong enough, or they're not and they need strengthening. And so that's really your long-term approach is to have a healthy support system. And one of the things, John, that as a client, and because of the family you are part of, but maybe a lot of people don't know this, is that our program is designed to be a healthy lifestyle, a healthy living program. And in the beginning, you're learning a bunch of small basic things to lose weight. But what you'll notice is a lot of those habits and core principles that you learn to lose weight, if you continue the principle, it's actually a healthy habit. And so we will disguise some of the quote unquote learning and in just the daily routine of things that you're going to be building, like eating breakfast every day, having water, spacing, eating 5 to 6 times a day for the rest of your life. All those are healthy habits. So, all right, so let's go through a little bit of detail here. We're going to kind of jump into a couple of the other habits that may or may not deal directly with weight. But so let's talk about sleep. How many hours do you get in a typical night?
Probably between 7 and 8.
Okay, great. That's actually a healthy time. So roughly what time do you usually get into bed?
About 11.
Okay. And then you wake up roughly?
6 to 7.
6 to 7. And when you wake up, do you have to wake up to an alarm? Do you wake up and you're ready to go, or are you groggy?
I wake up by myself.
Okay. Got it. And so you feel ready for the day?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's excellent. And now let's jump into hydration. That's one of the other healthy habits. Do you have any idea how much water you drink in a day?
I would say on average between probably about 80 to 100. 80 to 100.
Okay. Excellent. That's actually a great amount. Do you happen to drink coffee?
Nope.
Okay. And then soda?
No.
No. Tea?
What's that?
Do you drink tea?
No.
No. Okay. And occasional alcohol, or are you an alcohol drinker?
Yeah, it's yeah, sporadic.
Okay. All right.
Like if I'm getting together with some friends or something like that.
Okay. Got it. And let's move over to motion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your energy level? 10 being I have all the energy I need.
8 or 9.
Okay, great. Doing good in that area too. And then the kinds of physical activity. So it's was it mostly the football stuff, or what do you do for
Yeah, I
activity?
mean, if I'm not working, yes.
Okay.
My job doesn't entail a lot of physical
Okay.
labor. So, yeah, when I'm able to play tennis,
Tennis.
I'll take my kids and we'll go up and down the steps at the high school.
Okay.
Bike rides.
Okay.
Go on hikes. My wife is actually really good about keeping us very active and doing stuff too. So
Awesome.
hats off to her.
Would you? Yeah, that's great. That's a good habit. Well, it's relational too. So you're not only you're moving, but you're also relating.
Right.
And so,
You have
how
no
many
choice
days?
but to talk.
What's that?
You have no choice but to talk. There's no
Yeah.
distractions.
Yep. Especially if you're on a tandem bicycle.
Yeah.
How many days a week do you usually get out? Is it mainly weekends, or is it a little bit throughout the week too?
Mostly weekends. There's
Okay.
probably like one day. I usually don't get home till 9 o'clock at night, so
Okay.
a couple days
Got
I
it.
get off early, like a Sunday or a Thursday, Friday. We'll usually get out and do stuff.
Got it. Okay, and then we're moving on to stress. Would you say on a scale of 10 being very, very stressful, how would you rate your stress level?
It's pretty high.
Okay.
Just because job
9?
related
What would you say?
and everything else. I'd say it's up there in the 7-8 range.
Okay. All right. And what kind of work do you do? You said you have a desk job?
Yeah, I'm a sales manager.
Okay. All right. What do you love about that?
I love the diversity. I love the ability nothing's the same. So I work at a dealership, so I dictate the pricings of cars, and I manage people as well. Also train them, which is fun for me. I get to watch them grow as individuals.
Got it.
Get to see what kind of potential that they have. So it's very fast paced, or it can be, industry, but there's also a lot of stress involved too.
Okay. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy what you do?
I enjoy it. It's up there in the 9.
9s.
8 or 9. Yeah, I love what I do.
Perfect. Now, just the last question here about stress. Is there any other stressors, significant stressors in your life you can identify?
Probably
Relationships?
just time.
Time. Okay. What do you mean by that?
Just the ability. I mean, I'm always, like I said, if I'm not at work, I'm driving around picking up kids or doing stuff like that. And
okay. Let's see here. Okay. And then a couple little questions here. We're getting pretty close. Right now, how many meals do you eat in a day, or before you started the 5 and 1?
yeah, I can tell you, 5 and 1.
I was gonna say you're nailing it now, but
how many was I eating?
how many meals?
I'm a breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Okay.
person. So I mean, the only issue that I had was the inconsistency of eating when you do get busy at work, not preparing, not planning ahead. So the having a bar next to you is pretty easy to eat, but
Yeah.
making sure you have a meal prep for you from the
Super practical.
previous day is kind of tough at times.
Yep.
And so then
And-
you're kind of like, well, I'll just go out to eat, or I'll just grab some Chinese or whatever.
Right. Yeah. When when you're kind of exhausted from the activities of your day, thinking about planning a meal, you're like, let's just go out. And that happens in a split second.
Right. There's so many options out there.
Yep, there are. Well, and that's why
Unhealthy
most
ones.
people don't plan. And so that's why all those businesses thrive.
Sure.
Just the reality. Yep.
It's
So
people's lack of preparation.
Yep. When do you eat your first meal, roughly?
First thing in the morning.
So
7 o'clock.
7 a.m.
Usually.
Got it.
Except
And
this morning, I had to eat a little earlier because.
Yeah, because of this, because you're being interviewed. Yeah. So in the last meal of the day is roughly?
On the program, my last meal is around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Prior to this, because you're learning something.
I know, yeah, everything's past tense. I would say probably I would eat about 7:30.
7. Okay. Okay. And then historically, would you snack between meals or just kind of hit those 3 primaries?
I'm not much of a snacker, but I mean,
Okay.
so, I mean, there's the temptation sometimes of people bringing, various bakery items and donuts and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Got it. And, if you're thinking about unhealthy eating patterns that maybe are obvious to you, what would you say? How would you identify those, or what would that look like? You know yourself better.
Within myself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say the portion is definitely I'd say the portion control is huge. And there's a tendency, I think, within myself or anybody that you see all that food there and you just start eating it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even, sit in front of family or sitting amongst your friends or something like that, and you just continue to eat even though you're full.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And then that's actually a perfect segue. How many times a month or a week do you tend to eat out?
Oh, I would say at least a couple.
2
to 3 minimum.
Okay. Hi.
Sorry. That's how I was thinking too.
Got it. And then do you have like your couple? What are your couple favorite places to eat out?
Do I have a couple favorites?
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Yeah, I guess you can say there's a nice little Vietnamese place that's good to eat at.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm trying to think of any other.
What are you doing, Fluffins?
Hey, hold on a minute, Craig.
I got her.
You got it? Okay.
Is that you, Troy?
Got my 2 backups, guys. You got to be on that.
I'm trying to think of any. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, Olive Garden's good to eat at, and
Mm-hmm.
I like the pasta and the bread.
Okay. Who doesn't, right? I like my bread though toasted with garlic butter, personally.
Oh yeah. Roasted garlic, man. You can't go wrong.
Who doesn't?
It's Italian in me though.
Yep. And so, you mind me asking
back,
how?
Gotta go.
What's that?
Nothing. I was just joking. So I'll be right
Okay.
back.
No.
Grab some bread.
Yep. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me go get some toast. Right. So how old are you?
43.
43. Okay. How long you been 43? I'm just kidding.
Since February.
Since February. All right. And then how tall are you?
About 5'10".
Okay. And then your current weight, you told me, was about 210, right? Or no, you're down.
I'm down.
You're about
Going
202.
202, 203.
202, yeah.
I don't know. It's been 2 days.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. And so
right
when you
there.
think, we talked about 180 as being an ideal weight. If you were to think about, I mean, if you could have any weight, like would you be 175, or what is 170, 180, 185? What would you say would be like a real true ideal for you?
ideal is the 180. I mean, I was 180 forever.
Forever. Okay.
It felt like I maintained 180 no matter what I did for the
Okay.
longest time. So it was my,
Got it.
and it was,
And so I'm just going to, I was just looking up on we have some guidelines that there's a wide range of what we call the green zone. And I'm not going to tell you you have to. I'm just giving you information that can help you with your, with calibrating to what's a low disease risk and a pretty fit, healthy range for someone that's 5'10". And the zone starts at 167, right? And so from 150 to 167 would be clearly in the green zone. And so at 180, you're going to be better than you are now. If you desire to or want to go further, you wouldn't become unhealthy until you got, in the 140s, and you'd be getting kind of unhealthy. But so 167 is the number where the green zone starts. And what do you think of that number?
ends.
Huh?
Starts or ends?
Well, it actually 5'10", it goes from 140 to 167. That's the green zone. So it's a wide range of different body types, but at 180, you're not quite in the green zone, and I'm not telling you have to be, but if it's something you desired, it's possible. Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know that's the look I'm looking for.
Okay. It'd be more of a runner kind of body.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, you might have a six-pack. You don't want that, John.
Yeah.
You might have a six-pack or
No,
something.
I don't
have
want a
an
six-pack.
eight-pack
I just want some definition.
Got it. Yeah. Well, you can see, so what we'll usually do, since you've said yes to the program, or let's just say you haven't, if you decide to work with me on this program and getting some of these preliminary things under control, if you get to the 180 and you say, I'm not done yet, we can keep going. If you say, yep, I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Well, then you'll be done with the weight loss phase. But of course, you're never going to be done with our true program, because our program is healthy living for a long term. And so, last question here for you is, what do you think has been the most difficult about losing or maintaining weight from your experience?
There are a lot of temptations out there, I'd say. Marketing, drive-bys.
Uh-huh.
Again, family support is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of any other little. I think it's also just your mindset too. I mean, it's just, I'm a very driven person personally, but I'm very extreme in whatever I do. So if I decide that I want to do it, I'm going to do it. It's done. I've already visualized it.
Got it.
But with the, it's the losing sight of why I did it in the beginning. So out of sight, out of mind. So friendly reminders are always nice.
Got it.
And my question to you guys is how do you keep people that are on the program that have done such well? How do you keep them consistent?
That's a great question. The one of the biggest things is tapping into what you want, because most people start out with something that motivates them to take an action. And I call that pain. Something uncomfortable, some kind of discomfort or pain says, I'm ready, I'm doing this, right? Yeah. You might have seen somebody else that's healthier than you are, and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm sick and tired of being this way, right? Or you might have just caught a picture of yourself at a wedding or something and went, ugh, what happened to him, And so you see yourself in a picture and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Something somewhere along the line says, yes, I need to change. And so that pain is going to be your big motivator. Well, over time, we're going to start solving that pain, and it's going to decrease in its pain level, its intensity. And so you have resistance you have these things in your life that are hard to do, discipline, different types of lifestyle stuff, right? And so in the beginning, when the pain is greater than the resistance, you'll make progress. But as the pain goes down, the resistance is going to be about the same. And if the pain is less than the resistance, you're not going to keep going. So what we can do is we're going to tap into your why. You just gave me a bunch of reasons why you want these things in your life. So we call that desire or vision or your why. So we've got to tap into the power, the pulling power of your why when the pushing power of the pain ain't pushing anymore. Because either way, we got to overcome resistance or you're not going anywhere. So long term, the goal is to focus on what you want and move towards it. And when I say focus, I mean not just have a fleeting thought about it, but actually spend time with the future. Spend time with that person you want to be, the reasons why you want to be that, and remind yourself about that. And that's one of the things that you'll be able to do working with a health coach, is the health coach will tap back into those things. Remember when you said this? Yeah, you told me this. Is that still important to you? Has that changed? Right? And so continuing to tap in, and you're going to start achieving some of these whys. And so if we don't add new ones, then resistance will be greater and you'll get stuck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
100%. It's going to
Excellent.
the dark side.
What's that?
Going to the dark side.
Going to the dark side. Yeah. Well, when you have pain over here and you have desire over here, and we get somewhere in the middle and we sort of get stuck in that middle. And so we either go back to the pain, which is called the yo-yo diet.
Yeah.
Lots of people do it. But if people understand that if I increase desire, that's going to pull. So I either got pain or desire, one or the other. So you're either going to go back to where you were before and start again, or you're going to spend some time on this person you want to become and let that draw you to it. And so there's no magic. One or the other moves us.
Yeah, I agree. I've heard it a different way too. I've heard people say you do things to avoid pain and to gain pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, either way, desire, pleasure, however you want to put it, but you're absolutely right. And we'll talk ourselves into whatever. Some people eat themselves to death because that pain is a lot easier than the attention that they would get.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. Yeah. Yeah. The desire to feel good in the moment is greater than living in a healthy body. And so they just can't put it together, at least by themselves.
You guys probably do a lot of psychology with a lot of people, it sounds like. I mean,
well, I'm doing my Jedi mind lock on you right now.
Nice.
You want to start the program.
John, what it really is about is, as you look at wanting to create what you want, the problem is people, you're right. I mean, they get to where their goal, right? Oh, that's my goal. I hit my goal. I'm comfortable now. Instead of, oh, wait, let's focus on a different goal.
Mm-hmm.
What is your next goal? Because the problem is we're never stopping. Our health never stops. So if we quit because of the fact that maybe we stopped, then what we do is revert back what we did before. So it's important to kind of see what you want to, your vision of, just like Craig's saying, hey, could you see yourself at such and such? And John's like, well, I don't know. But you can't see it now because it's something that it's the future, right? You haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen what's really going to happen in your life. So
you got to see it in your imagination and then you move towards it if it's desirable. And if your dreams aren't desirable, they're not dreams. Those are called nightmares. So you get to change those because they're yours. But here's two questions. Well, first of all, only just a couple minutes left here, and then I'll let you go. But so I have a pretty good idea of what you want, and I know where you want to go, right? So let me just talk about a couple of basic things that will help you to get there. Our program consists of 4 primary cornerstones, I guess, if you will. The first one is because you eat every day, we're going to teach you how to fuel your body in a way that's doable, right? And there's some key components to that doableness. It's got to be convenient, or eventually you won't do it because it's too hard. It has to be healthy, because if you eat stuff that's not healthy, that's not going to help. It has to be tasty, or you're like, I don't like the way that tastes, right? So you have to have some components that their convenience is high, the nutrition is high, the taste is palatable and appropriate, and that the actual things that you're doing work together to move you forward. So we're going to teach you how to eat in social situations. Like you go to a Super Bowl party, you have a strategy, right? Because one strategy is to eat everything I see. That may get you what you want. It may not, right? We want to teach you how to shop, how to cook, how to order at a restaurant. So we're going to teach you how to fuel your body. One of the things we're going to also do is provide you in the beginning, sort of to kick things off when you're making a lot of changes and your body's transitioning. We're going to help. We've actually created. We've worked with awesome, amazing doctors and a program where we've designed fuel that meets all those criteria. That's going to be doable. It's going to be tasty. It's going to be healthy. And so you're going to eat 6 times a day. 5 of those we're going to pretty much make really simple. And then 1 of those we'll work with you on. We call that a lean and green. I'll go into more detail on that, but basically I want the takeaway for you is to be that it's doable and it's real and it works. So fueling is one of the 4 cornerstones, right? The second one is the support of a health coach. So you're going to be working on a daily at the beginning and on a weekly basis after that, where you'll get to check in with somebody that knows what you want and is going to contend for those and partner with you to get those. Now, one of the things about working with a health coach is if you're struggling and they don't know, they can't help. So there'll be times when you don't want to call your health coach because the scale went up, but your health coach doesn't care whether the scale goes up or down. They're there to help you get what you want. So if you're struggling, make sure you reach out to your health coach. So you get a health coach, they're going to encourage you, they're going to support you, they're going to partner with you, and really they're going to make your dreams their dreams. So they're going to help you achieve those. That's the second thing. The third one is called the Habits of Health System. This is where the wealth of knowledge that comes from people that have done this before us and that have a system that works. So we're going to teach you about setting goals. We talked about moving towards what you want. We talk about that in here. Talk about healthy sleep. Talk about fueling. Talk about exercise. Talks about, lots of different components, inflammation. So you'll go through the Habits of Health System over time as things come up, and we'll work on that. They also have every week we record what we call a Habits of Health meeting or lesson. And so you'll be able to listen to the Habits of Health over time while you're commuting to work, maybe while you're on the weekends or while you're walking. So you'll be able to not only just read to get the information, but you'll be able to listen to real people talk about their experiences and what they're learning. So we have one of those episodes every week. And so you have an on-demand library that you can tap into. So that's our Habits of Health system. And the third one, or the last one, is the fourth one, is the community. Many people are in their environment because they're unhealthy. Their community is about as healthy as they are. So their community might not be very healthy. And you can't change your family, right? Not like overnight anyway. You can add new people to it, and you can maybe inspire people to become healthier like you're doing with your wife. But the reality is that you're only as healthy in the long run as the community that you keep. So we've built, and you can just join this. We've built healthy communities of people. We have Facebook groups. We do healthy happy hours where we get together in person. We do health challenges. We do a lot of different events. Once a year, we have a wellness retreat where we all get together and learn and grow and share stories. And so the community is something that we champion, because we know that in the long run, if we're around healthy people, we're going to be influenced by that. So we got fueling, we've got the Habits Health System, we've got personal one-on-one coaching and support, and we have our healthy communities. So any of those stick out to you, or can you see?
Yeah.
Out of those, which ones do you see like that makes sense? I didn't see that, but I see that now. Which one of those?
I knew the as far as the community goes, I know birds of a feather usually flock together, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense as an ongoing saying. So I get that. I understand that. So I mean, yeah, especially when you're with your partner or with your friends, they dictate and tell you who you are, and so that one I understand. The fueling I get. It is a nice reminder to know that stuff as well too. So a lot of stuff is it's knowledge is nothing more than remembering, and that's all you're doing is you're reminding people, and it reminded me as well too. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely, I completely agree with what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying. So I mean, and it's good to see it's not just one of you guys, but all you guys are there together, and it's a big family
Yep.
of people together that are there for all the right reasons.
That's
So
a double entendre for you, John, right? We have a health
absolutely.
coaching family, and you have an actual blood family that's healthy.
Well, exactly, yeah. And it's funny to watch the journey with him as well too, and some of the struggles that he even has with his weight, and I think he has a long line of it as well too. And so,
Well, with Troy, it's all the mental issues that I see.
it's a lot of he's kind of screwed up in the head.
Well,
could have been dropped too.
Yeah, that's right. So as we're concluding here, I have two questions to go. How do you see, based upon what I've just shared with you, well, maybe you've just answered this question, how do you see this being different than things you've tried in the past? Why is this going to be better? Because if it's not better, why do it?
Right. I would say, why is this different? There's a lot. The support is a huge benefit. You're not just paying for food; you're paying for just the food with the coach, and I think that the value there is tremendous. That most people I don't think actually see.
Yeah.
So that's because when you try to do something on your own, you definitely can talk yourself out of it as well too, as you talk yourself into it.
Yeah.
So, but when you have somebody holding you accountable, it's a little bit different. So, and this is very easy. This program is extremely easy. It's probably the reasons why I would go back to it, and I have gone back to it so many different times because it doesn't not a lot of thought to it. I mean, not a lot.
It's
of
very
planning
simple to do, for sure.
I mean, not to, but yeah, an idiot can do this without being.
Well, the 5-in-1 an idiot can do. Keeping it off.
That's I know that's the crutch right there. That's that's when we have to actually sit down and read a book and listen to the people around you and surround yourself.
By the way, John, do you have a habits health book, John?
Some really cool dude gave it to me. He has less hair than me. I'm kind of one question I do have for everybody here. I'm noticing a trend. Is it the more I eat this stuff, the less hair I'm going to have? I'm just curious because you got no hair. What?
Your legs will get shorter too. I'm in a wheelchair. You may not know me, but that was the leg joke. I'll move on.
You're in a wheelchair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yep. It's okay.
Doesn't change my view of you.
Don't judge. So I have one last question here for the training. And this is, you guys may want to write this one down. This came from Becca Tinter. I have a really good picture of where you are, and I have a really good picture of where you want to be. And I just want you to know, John, I am fully confident. I'm actually certain that our program provides a path to go from where you are to where you want to be. The next question that I have for you is, when do you want to get started on this journey?
Now.
No, that's a great answer. And so you've already started, but that's a great question. And so just for folks on the training, I know where you are. I know they know you know where they want to be because I just told you. I repeated back as we went. So I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. And so I know where you are. I know where you want to be. I just told you how we're going to get there with those 4 cornerstones. The next step is, when do we get started? And then stop talking. Do not talk until they talk.
That's the easiest way to close somebody.
Yeah.
I learned that in my industry, by the way. You're absolutely right. He who talks first loses.
The first one to talk buys.
Or loses, whatever you want to say.
Yep. Yeah, we say wins. Because if I talk first, I'm the one that buy. If you talk first, then you're the one that buys. So you say, I know where you go. I know where you want to be. I know how to get you there. When do you want to get started? And it doesn't get starting may look like you might say, well, what does getting started look like? Great question. Or you could say, right now, I don't care what it looks like. I want it. Right. So awesome. All right. Well, that's great stuff here. Thanks. This is actually a real live actual interview. And so thank you for being a great participant. And
Yeah, John, thanks for your time.
yeah,
Absolutely,
nice to meet you
guys.
as well, John.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back next Saturday because we'll be doing the same thing
Yeah.
again. Not this, but something different.
Yep. All right,
Maybe
John.
we'll be another guinea pig instead of a dummy.
Yeah.
I like that word a lot better, by the way.
Yeah.
Guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping us out today, John. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
John. Hey, have a
No
great
problem.
day. Yeah. Thanks.
Am I zooming out?
You
You
zoom out if you want.
or zoom
You
out.
stay in or whatever you want to do, man.
I might hang out for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
So what you guys have to conclude.
All right.
Or are you going to talk about me? I'll leave if you need me to leave.
Yeah.
No,
I'm cool with
you
that. I
can
mean, I
stay as long
understand
as
that.
you want.
Hang out. I am going to
Stay
mute
as
you
long
now
as you
so
want.
I can get to
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So you guys saw that. So basically, hopefully there was some things that you saw there. And it was an assessment. You guys might not know this, but that is the first time I've done this I just saw this yesterday for the first time. It just came out. But the process of assessing somebody it's the same. If you know how to interview people and you're curious, you'll ask questions. Now, I know also, as you saw me writing these things down, many of the things I said were written down right there. I just read it word for word. But there was a few things where I kind of dug in a little deeper. And tell me more about that. He would say something that I didn't understand, and I would say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, tell me more about that. Well, unpack that a little more. And then I used some words like, well, go into the future self or go into your past self. And so I'm trying to paint a picture to help their mind go to the future and what do they see in the mirror? What do they see in their life? How's their life better?
Hey,
Because
Craig,
I'm trying to help them build that future in their imagination, which we have to do it. They've got to see it in their imagination or have a rough idea so they can move towards it.
And one thing too, Craig, is that, Craig does it his way, right? As in he still follows it, but Craig's personality is not your personality. So don't think that you're going to do it like Craig, okay? You all have different personalities. You all have different ways of looking at the health assessment. Now, think about, and one thing is I would encourage you to maybe practice maybe one or two with somebody, okay? Because practice makes perfect. But as we look at this is something new. This is a new tool. Now, you might have used a health assessment in the past, but the questions were different, right? So run through this with your wife, or maybe run through it with your brother, or whatever. So you kind of feel like you have a little more grips on really how you're able to go through a health assessment with that individual that you want to talk with about, potentially showing them what they can have.
Yep. All right. I'm going to stop the recording now and we'll get into our power hour and we'll have a little bit of discussion. So pause for just a second here.